Life in danger. Angela rushed to ICU after heart attack. Michael Ilesanmi and family heartbroken. Angela's health took a terrifying turn as she was rushed to the ICU following a sudden heart attack, leaving Michael Ilesanmi and his family shocked, devastated, and desperately waiting for updates. The incident unfolded early in the morning when Angela complained of severe chest pain and shortness of breath. Within minutes, things escalated dangerously, forcing emergency responders to transport her to the nearest hospital, where doctors immediately categorized her condition as critical. As medical teams worked tirelessly, Angela was placed under intensive care, and the news quickly spread among close family members and longtime followers who have watched her emotional, chaotic, and challenging journey on 90 Day Fiancé. Michael, who has already been navigating a stressful and complicated separation from Angela, received the heartbreaking news through a family member. Despite the distance and the strain between them, hearing that Angela was fighting for her life left him shattered. Sources close to Michael say he broke down in tears upon learning the severity of the situation, repeatedly expressing regret, fear, and confusion. Michael's family, who have had their ups and downs with Angela over the years, also reacted with deep concern. Regardless of past conflicts, they understood the seriousness of the moment and began praying together for Angela's recovery. Doctors revealed that Angela suffered a major cardiac episode, one that may have been triggered by prolonged stress, smoking, emotional breakdowns, and years of intense confrontations, many of which played out publicly. Angela has often admitted to living with stress and health issues, but no one expected her condition to deteriorate so suddenly. ICU staff worked around the clock to stabilize her vitals, running multiple tests and preparing her for possible emergency procedures. For hours, Angela's family waited silently outside the ICU room, their only hope resting on the medical team's efforts. Meanwhile, Michael struggled with overwhelming guilt. Although he was not physically present, the weight of their complicated relationship fell heavily on him. In recent months, tensions between the couple had escalated. Arguments, misunderstandings, and public drama had left both emotionally exhausted. But hearing that Angela was in the ICU brought every unresolved memory back to the surface. Michael reportedly told those close to him that no matter what happened between them, he never wanted harm to come to her. He expressed remorse for the pain both of them caused each other and feared the possibility of not getting a final moment to speak to her if the worst happened. Angela's daughters were visibly distraught as they contacted extended family members, updating them in intervals as new medical information emerged. The ICU restricted visitors, allowing only limited time with Angela due to her unstable condition. Nurses shared that Angela was semi-conscious at times, drifting in and out while hooked up to monitors and tubes. The once loud, fiery, unstoppable Angela was suddenly fragile, a stark contrast that shook everyone around her. Reports began circulating online, and fans reacted with shock. While Angela's strong personality has earned her both supporters and critics, the majority of viewers expressed sadness and concern, flooding social media with prayers and well wishes. Many pointed out that despite her controversies, she is still a human being who has struggled with grief, marriage issues, aging, and personal insecurities. Others reflected on how reality TV pressure and emotional trauma can take a toll on cast members' health over time. Back at the hospital, doctors explained that the next 48 hours would be crucial. Angela's heart had undergone significant strain, and the possibility of further complications remained high. They ordered an urgent set of cardiac evaluations, including angiography, to determine whether blockages or prior unnoticed symptoms contributed to the attack. Family members were instructed to prepare for possible surgeries, depending on test outcomes. Michael remained glued to his phone, anxiously waiting for updates from Angela's daughters. He reportedly asked several times if he could speak to Angela, even if she was unable to respond. At one point, her daughter allowed him to hear her breathing through the phone, hoping it would bring him some peace. That moment reportedly left Michael emotional, realizing how close he was to losing someone who had been a massive part of his life for years. Behind the scenes, relatives discussed Angela's long battle with emotional stress. Many who know her personally revealed that she had been overwhelmed lately, struggling with relationship drama, public criticism, and personal responsibilities. Her fiery personality often masked her softer side, where she carried fears, insecurities, and unspoken pressures. Close friends admitted they had been urging her to seek medical attention for months due to her increased fatigue, shortness of breath, and complaints of chest tightness. But Angela brushed off most concerns, insisting she was just stressed. As night fell, the ICU team continued monitoring her condition. Angela showed small signs of improvement, but the risk was still high. Her daughters remained hopeful but fearful, exhausted but determined to stay by her side. Michael, miles away, prayed through the night, struggling to cope with the emotional storm. He reportedly told his relatives that if Angela recovered, he wanted to speak to her with a calm heart, without anger or bitterness, something they had not experienced in a long time. The situation served as a sobering reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who appear strong on the outside. Angela's journey has been full of explosive moments, laughter, fights, and heartbreak. But this medical emergency became a turning point, a moment that forced everyone around her to see beyond the drama. Whether fans loved her or disagreed with her decisions, almost everyone united in hoping she pulls through. Doctors scheduled additional tests for the following morning, explaining that they would have a clearer picture of Angela's condition after reviewing the results. For now, the family continues to hold on to hope, praying that Angela's fighting spirit helps her recover. And as updates slowly emerge, one thing is certain: this heart attack has forever changed the people closest to her, leaving Michael, his family, and Angela's loved ones deeply shaken and desperate for her recovery. The tension inside the hospital grew heavier as the second day unfolded, with Angela still under critical observation after her heart attack. Her room remained sealed inside the ICU, surrounded by machines that monitored every beat, every breath, and every flicker of change in her condition. Doctors kept a close eye on her heart rhythm, preparing for sudden complications that could arise at any moment. Angela's daughters stayed together in the hallway, whispering prayers and recalling memories, hoping for even the smallest sign that she was stabilizing. The emotional weight of the situation left everyone drained, yet no one dared leave the hospital, fearing that bad news might arrive at any second. Medical specialists explained to the family that Angela's case was complex. Her heart muscles had shown signs of severe strain, possibly due to high emotional stress, years of smoking, untreated symptoms, and her recent personal battles. The cardiology team spent hours reviewing her scans and files, trying to create the safest recovery plan. They discussed several possibilities: medication adjustments, lifestyle interventions, or even surgery if the tests suggested clogged arteries. Every option came with risks, and the family listened silently as doctors outlined the gravity of the situation. Meanwhile, Michael woke up early after barely sleeping through the night. The emotional shock of the news had drained him, but his mind couldn't rest. He felt helpless being so far away, unable to step inside the hospital or offer any in-person support. His relatives noticed how deeply the situation affected him. They described him sitting quietly in the corner, staring at his phone, waiting for the next update. At times, he held his head in his hands, overwhelmed with the fear that Angela might not survive. Despite all the conflicts, separations, and accusations between them, the thought of losing her forever terrified him. A few relatives suggested he try to distract himself, but Michael refused. He wanted to be available the second the family called, even if the news was difficult to hear. Friends who visited him gently reminded him that heart attacks often require days of observation, and recovery could still be possible. But Michael remained shaken because this wasn't something he ever imagined happening so suddenly. Angela had always presented herself as unstoppable, strong, loud, fiery, and full of energy. Watching her collapse into a medical crisis felt unreal to him. Back at the hospital, Angela's daughters received a small update from the ICU nurse. Angela had shown a slight improvement in her oxygen levels, and her blood pressure had stabilized for the moment. Though it wasn't a major breakthrough, it was good enough to give everyone a sliver of hope. Her daughters immediately shared the update with Michael, who breathed a heavy sigh of relief. For a moment, he allowed himself to feel a flicker of comfort, but his worry returned quickly, knowing the danger wasn't over. As the day progressed, the doctors prepared Angela for another round of tests, including a detailed assessment of her arteries. They needed to understand the full extent of the damage before deciding the next steps. Her daughters signed the necessary papers, anxiously pacing the hallway as hospital staff wheeled Angela away. It was a painful sight to see their strong mother lying unconscious, connected to tubes and machines, utterly vulnerable. While Angela was undergoing tests, her family gathered in the waiting area to discuss her long-term health. Many expressed concern about her habits and how years of emotional turmoil had finally surfaced in the most frightening way. They discussed the constant stress she endured between family responsibilities, filming schedules, relationship confrontations, and online criticism. Her personality naturally attracted pressure, but many close to her admitted they didn't realize how much it was affecting her behind the scenes. As more messages about Angela spread across social media, fans and former cast members began posting their reactions. Some shared prayers and encouraging words, asking others to hope for Angela's recovery. A few castmates, who had clashed with her in the past, still put aside their differences to show empathy. They highlighted the harsh reality of fame and stress, reminding viewers that health struggles can hit anyone regardless of public image. The situation also sparked discussions about mental and physical health awareness, particularly for those constantly under emotional strain. Michael received a call from a close friend who urged him to stay strong despite the overwhelming situation. The friend reminded him that whatever happened, Michael had been a significant part of Angela's life, and his emotional turmoil was natural. But Michael confessed that he regretted many of their arguments, wishing he had handled situations differently. He feared Angela might never hear the words he wanted to say, words he had pushed aside for months because of pride and distance. Hours passed before Angela was brought back to her ICU room after the tests. Doctors informed the family that her heart had experienced major stress damage, but there was still hope for recovery if no further complications arose. They explained that she needed absolute rest, full monitoring, and strict medical support. Her daughters thanked the medical staff repeatedly, clinging to hope as they stood outside the ICU window, watching Angela's chest rise and fall softly. For the first time in hours, Angela briefly opened her eyes. Though weak and disoriented, the small movement brought overwhelming relief. She couldn't speak, but the medical team assured the family that consciousness, even briefly, was a positive sign. When Michael heard the news that she woke up momentarily, he broke down again, whispering prayers and wishing he could be there physically. He asked Angela's daughter if she could play a voice message he recorded for her. In the message, Michael spoke softly, telling Angela to stay strong, to fight, and that he was thinking about her constantly. He hoped she would hear it even if she couldn't respond. As the night approached again, the family stayed close, refusing to leave her side. The doctor reminded them that recovery was still uncertain and would require patience, but the signs were encouraging. The fear remained, but so did hope. Angela's. Since Michael Ilesanmi left Angela Deem's home, the 90-Day Fiancé stars have been locked in a bitter court battle. Angela sought an annulment, but recent reports suggest she may, instead, lose half of her assets. Here's what we know so far. Currently, there's a lot of fake news on social media. Claims that Michael won half of Angela's assets should be taken with a grain of salt for now, at least until official court documents are revealed. The claims originated from posts by at 90-Day Fiancé News, @memes, and at Celebrity Vulture on Instagram. Later, TV season spoilers reported on the story. The initial allegation came from Angela herself during a TikTok live session. Both pages shared a short clip of the reality TV alum's remarks, noting her visible frustration. The post's caption highlighted Angela's claim, though official court confirmation remains pending. 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after? Couple Angela Deem and Michael Ilesanmi's catfight never seems to end, and the freshest tea is that Angela apparently recently took it to social media to throw shade at Michael's new rumored girlfriend. While it's a separate debate whether she should be doing so or not in the first place, according to Screen Rant, Angela recently reposted a video on Instagram, probably on her stories because there is no such recent post on her feed about the same, where a woman was seen taking side chicks to the cleaners. While Angela didn't directly name Michael, it's clear that she was talking about her estranged husband's new rumored girlfriend. In addition to all that the video said and implied, this is what Angela captioned it with. While these were apparently Angela's words, the video itself was brutal, and the woman speaking in it gave a clear message for side chicks. The woman in the video can be seen and heard calling out all those women who get involved with a married or committed man while thinking that they're special, without knowing that they're just getting played. Well, it's clear that all those cheating scandals of her estranged husband are still messing with Angela's head, and even though it has been a while since the two of them were on the same page, the reality TV star wants to make it clear that since they're not officially divorced yet, another woman getting involved with Michael is wrong. In a way, it's her way of giving this new rumored girlfriend a heads up to watch out for herself. Michael allegedly cheated on Angela long before they were married in 2020. He was accused of cheating with a woman in his neighborhood. However, Angela went on to forgive him, and the two of them even got married. Unfortunately, that only added to the trust issues between them as Angela ended up becoming more paranoid and controlling. Fast forward to 2024, their relationship never properly recovered, and eventually, even more cheating accusations from Angela's end came up against Michael. In response to Angela's annulment filing in June 2024, the basis of which was that Michael fraudulently married her to obtain U.S. residency, the latter accused her of cruel treatment. In return, detailing both physical and mental abuse that occurred privately and publicly as the reason. Michael continued with a divorce filing in return, denied fraudulent accusations, and even requested spousal support. On top of it, the same source reveals that the rumored girlfriend is one of the same mistresses that Michael once cheated on Angela with. So to see Angela still sensitive about the cheating makes all the more sense. 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9 is expected to air sometime in the first half of 2025. It appears that 90 Day Fiancé alum Michael Ilesanmi may have broken free of his wife Angela Deem's grasp, as there are several hints towards a possible breakup. Michael has famously been under Angela's thumb in the sense that he always had to make himself available to her, had to let her know who he was communicating with, and was not allowed to have his own social media profiles. He was also the victim of extreme verbal abuse from Angela with threats of physical violence, and she controlled him hypocritically because she was able to go out and do whatever she wanted, whereas there would be consequences for Michael if he did. With that said, there are signs throughout social media that Michael is no longer being controlled by Angela. One of the biggest signs that Angela and Michael may no longer be together is the fact that Michael is back on his own Instagram, which isn't controlled by Angela. They had previously shared Angela's Instagram account. Michael has posted several photos and videos in the last 5 days, which have been his only posts since January 1st, 2019. Michael was also hanging out with fellow 90 Day Fiancé star and Nigerian Usman Sojaboy Umar. 90 Day viewers know Angela would have a problem with this because she was always hard-pressed to let him spend any time with friends. On Angela's side of things, she has not posted anything about or with Michael on TikTok, which become a popular platform for her since November 2021. On her Instagram, the last trace of Michael was from 7 weeks ago. Based on Angela's repeated emotional and verbal abuse of Michael, 90 Day Fiancé viewers have called on TLC several times to cancel Angela from the network. Many viewers can't take the level of degradation presented by Angela on the show and didn't want TLC to perpetuate the cycle and validate Angela's behavior. However, Angela has not been fired since her controversial appearance on Season 6 of Happily Ever After, and was even given a feature on Season 2 of 90 Day Bears All. With TLC firing cast members like Alina Kozovnikova and Lisa Ham over racist remarks, and Larissa Lima over a camgirl show, it is possible that behavior like Angela presented will no longer be tolerable at some point. Season 6 of 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, is in full swing, and fans cannot get over Angela Deem's transformation. It's been no secret that Angela wanted to get healthier and more fit for her family, and she really took her weight loss journey seriously. This season follows Angela, who's lost 100 pounds, as she chooses to get gastric sleeve surgery, which means she has to completely stop eating sweets and smoking cigarettes. Angela also shocked fans and her husband Michael when she announced she was getting breast reduction surgery. So, what's happening with Angela now? Angela has gotten a decent amount of plastic surgery while starring in 90 Day Fiancé. Most recently, she underwent a gastric sleeve surgery, liposuction, breast reduction, and 2 more that were unspecified. I decided to do breast surgery while I'm there. A reduction. Everybody's like, what? I'm like, why not? And then what about liposuction? I said, "Let's do it. Let's do it all in one day," Angela said. She also shared that the doctors found hernias and stuff, which resulted in 5 total surgeries.